The child. Everyone praises may be the one suffering the most introduction. Hello everyone, and welcome back to NGWI-MENYI Expressions, LLC. I am NGWI-MENYI Taka, author of Nurturing Tomorrow and Walking the Talk, Navigating Teenage Years. Today, I want to talk about a child who is often overlooked. Not the rebellious child, not the child who is constantly getting into trouble, not the child whose grades are declining. Today, I want to talk about the child everyone praises. The child who never causes problems. The child who always gets good grades. The child who follows the rules. The child who takes responsibility. The child who rarely complains. The child everyone points to as an example. Because sometimes, the child everyone praises may be the one suffering the most. And the tragedy is that many parents never see it coming. Why? Because we have been conditioned to look for visible signs of struggle. We notice anger. We notice rebellion. We notice defiance. We notice academic failure. But what if the greatest suffering is happening quietly? What if the child who appears strongest is actually carrying a burden too heavy for their age? What if the child who never asks for help desperately needs it? What if the child who makes your life easier is paying an emotional price that nobody sees? Today, we are going to explore what research tells us, what psychology tells us, what experience tells us, and what many families discover too late. Because understanding this issue may help you save your relationship with your child and protect their emotional well-being for years to come. The myth of the perfect child. Every family has one. The responsible child, the dependable child, the achiever, the helper, the child who rarely requires correction. And because they seem to be doing well, parents naturally focus their attention elsewhere. The struggling child gets attention, the rebellious child gets attention, the child with behavioral issues gets attention, the high-performing child gets expectations. Many parents unintentionally create an invisible contract. It sounds something like this. You are the strong one. You are the mature one. You are the example. You don't need as much support. At first glance, these statements sound positive, but beneath them can lie enormous pressure. Researchers studying perfectionism among adolescents have documented a troubling trend. Over the last several decades, socially prescribed perfectionism, the belief that others expect perfection from you, has increased significantly among young people. Many children increasingly feel that their worth is tied to performance, achievement, and meeting expectations. When children begin believing that love, approval, and acceptance are connected to success, they often stop sharing their struggles. They learn to perform, they learn to smile, they learn to hide, and sometimes they become experts at hiding. Why high-achieving children often suffer in silence. Many parents assume that successful children are automatically happy children. Research consistently shows that achievement and emotional well-being are not the same thing. A child may excel academically while experiencing anxiety. A child may be praised by teachers while struggling with loneliness. A child may be winning awards while battling self-doubt. A child may appear confident while feeling emotionally exhausted. One reason this happens is because praise itself can become a source of pressure. The child begins to develop an identity around achievement. Their self-worth becomes attached to performance. They begin asking themselves, what happens if I fail? What happens if I disappoint everyone? What happens if I'm no longer the smart one? What happens if I can't keep this up? These questions can quietly create chronic stress. And stress that remains hidden for years often emerges later in unexpected ways. Anxiety, burnout, depression, perfectionism, people-pleasing, fear of failure, difficulty forming healthy relationships, difficulty setting boundaries, difficulty asking for help. The child who seemed strongest becomes the adult who feels responsible for everyone else. And often nobody understands why. The people-pleasing trap. One of the most overlooked dangers facing high-performing children is people-pleasing. People pleasers often receive tremendous praise during childhood. They are obedient, helpful, cooperative, respectful. But beneath these qualities may be a deeper concern. Some children learn that maintaining peace is their responsibility. Some learn that saying no creates conflict. Some learn that disappointing others is unacceptable. As adults, these children often struggle with setting boundaries, expressing disagreement, advocating for themselves, pursuing their own needs, making independent decisions. They spend years trying to earn approval because they never learned that their value existed apart from performance. And this is not what healthy parenting should produce. Healthy parenting should produce confident adults who understand their worth, not exhausted adults constantly seeking validation. The hidden anxiety behind good grades. Let's talk about something that many parents never consider. Good grades do not always mean a child is doing well. Read that again. Good grades do not always mean a child is emotionally healthy. Sometimes, good grades are simply evidence that a child has learned how to perform under pressure. A child can be earning straight A's while battling anxiety every single day. A child can be at the top of the class while secretly believing that their worth depends entirely on achievement. A child can receive awards, scholarships, and recognition while feeling terrified of failure. And this is where many loving parents unintentionally miss what is happening beneath the surface. Because society rewards results, schools celebrate results, communities celebrate results, families celebrate results. Very few people stop and ask, how is this child carrying the weight of those results? Researchers have found increasing levels of anxiety among adolescents, particularly among high-achieving students. Many high-performing students report experiencing chronic stress, fear of failure, sleep deprivation, and perfectionistic tendencies. Why? Because somewhere along the way, success stopped being something they achieved. Success became who they are, and when achievement becomes identity, failure becomes a threat to survival. Think about that. If a child believes, I'm valuable because I'm smart, I'm loved because I succeed, I'm respected because I perform, then every mistake becomes dangerous. Every B feels like a failure. Every setback feels catastrophic. Every disappointment feels personal. And instead of developing resilience, they develop fear. Fear of failing. Fear of disappointing parents. Fear of letting teachers down. Fear of losing approval. Fear of no longer being the good child. This fear creates an invisible prison. The child works harder, studies harder, pushes harder, sleeps less, worries more, and everyone around them applauds. Nobody sees the anxiety, nobody sees the panic, nobody sees the pressure, because the grades still look good. I once heard a young person say, people kept congratulating me for succeeding while I was quietly falling apart. That statement should stop every parent in their tracks. Because sometimes the child receiving the most praise is carrying the heaviest burden. And here's the heartbreaking reality. Many children never tell their parents, not because they don't trust them, but because they don't want to disappoint them. They see how proud their parents are. They see the sacrifices their parents make. They see the expectations, and they tell themselves, I can't let them down. So they suffer silently. They smile, they perform, they achieve, and they struggle alone. Parents, if your child consistently succeeds, celebrate them, but don't only celebrate their results. Celebrate their effort, celebrate their character, celebrate their kindness, celebrate their honesty, celebrate their courage, celebrate who they are, not just what they accomplish. Because when children know they are loved beyond their achievements, they become free. Free to grow, free to fail, free to learn, free to be human. The warning signs parents commonly miss. Now let's talk about what many parents overlook. The signs of emotional struggle are not always dramatic. In fact, the most concerning signs are often subtle. The child isn't acting out. The child isn't failing. The child isn't getting into trouble. The child is functioning. And that's what makes it difficult to recognize. Let's look at some warning signs. Warning sign number 1. They never ask for help. At first, this sounds like a positive thing. Many parents say, "My child is so independent. They handle everything themselves. They never need help." But healthy children ask for help. Healthy children lean on trusted adults. Healthy children know they don't have to carry every burden alone. When a child refuses to ask for help, sometimes it is because they believe asking for help is weakness. Or worse, they believe asking for help will disappoint people. Pay attention to the child who never asks for support. Sometimes they have learned to suffer in silence. Warning. Sign number 2. They are extremely hard on themselves. Listen carefully to how your child speaks after making mistakes. Do they say, "I'm stupid. I'm not good enough. I always mess things up. No matter what I do, it's never enough"? Many children receive compassion from everyone except themselves. They become their own harshest critic. The pressure that once came from outside eventually moves inside, and now the child becomes the source of their own suffering. Parents must challenge these beliefs early, not by lowering standards, but by teaching self-compassion. Mistakes are not evidence of failure. Mistakes are evidence of learning. Warning sign number 3. They struggle to relax. Watch your child when there is nothing to do. Can they enjoy rest? Can they enjoy free time? Can they simply be present? Or do they constantly feel guilty when they are not being productive? Many children raised in achievement-driven environments begin to associate rest with laziness. Their value becomes connected to output. This mindset often follows them into adulthood, creating burnout, anxiety, and chronic stress. Warning, sign number 4. They fear disappointing others. This may be one of the strongest indicators. When children become overly concerned about disappointing parents, teachers, coaches, or friends, they often lose touch with their own needs. They stop asking, "What do I want?" and start asking, "What will make everyone else happy?" This is where people-pleasing begins, and people-pleasing can rob a child of their identity. Warning, sign number 5. They hide their emotions. Many high-performing children become experts at emotional concealment. They don't want to create problems. They don't want to burden others. They don't want to appear weak, so they smile. Even when they're hurting, they perform. Even when they're exhausted, they reassure others. Even when they need reassurance themselves. Parents, this is why emotional conversations matter. Not conversations about grades, not conversations about performance, conversations about feelings, conversations about fears, conversations about pressure, conversations about life. Sometimes the most important question you can ask your child is not, "How did you do?" but, "How are you doing?" And then sit quietly enough to hear the answer. Because the child everyone praises may be waiting for someone to notice that beneath the success, beneath the smiles, beneath the achievements, there is a human being who simply wants to know that they are loved for who they are, not for what they accomplish. That realization can change a child's life forever. How parents can protect high-achieving children from burnout, anxiety, and identity-based pressure. At this point, some parents may be feeling uncomfortable. You may be thinking, have I accidentally put too much pressure on my child? Have I focused too much on achievement? Have I mistaken performance for well-being? If those questions are crossing your mind, don't feel condemned. Feel encouraged, because awareness creates opportunity. And the fact that you are listening means you care. Parenting is not about being perfect. It is about being intentional. Let's talk about what we can do. Solution, chapter 1. Separate your child's worth from their performance. This may be the most important lesson in today's entire conversation. Your child's worth is not found in their grades, their trophies, their athletic accomplishments, their college acceptance letters, their talents, their popularity, their achievements. Their worth comes from who they are. not what they do. One of the greatest gifts parents can give a child is unconditional affirmation. Imagine hearing this regularly. I love you when you succeed. I love you when you fail. I love you when you make mistakes. I love you when you disappoint me. I love you because you are my child. Not because you perform, not because you achieve, not because you impress me, but because you are mine. Children who hear this message consistently develop emotional security, and emotional security becomes the foundation for resilience. Because when failure happens, and it will, they know failure did not change their value. Solution number 2: praise character more than achievement. Many parents unintentionally praise outcomes more than character. We're proud because you got an A. We're proud because you won. We're proud because you succeeded. But what happens when the child doesn't win? What happens when they don't get the A? What happens when they struggle? Do they still feel worthy of praise? Parents, begin praising qualities that cannot be measured by a report card. Praise honesty, praise integrity, praise kindness, praise responsibility, praise perseverance, praise compassion, praise courage, praise humility, because life will eventually expose the limitations of talent. But character continues carrying people forward long after achievements fade. Ask yourself, what am I celebrating most in my home? Because children naturally move toward what parents celebrate. Solution number 3: create a home where failure is safe. One of the biggest fears high-achieving children carry is the fear of making mistakes. Why? Because mistakes often feel dangerous. They fear judgment, disappointment, embarrassment, correction, loss of approval. But growth requires mistakes. Learning requires mistakes. Maturity requires mistakes. If your child believes perfection is expected, they will either become anxious or dishonest. Some children become overwhelmed. Others begin hiding failures. Neither outcome is healthy. Instead, create a culture where mistakes become learning opportunities. When your child fails, ask, what did you learn? What would you do differently next time? How can I support you? These questions build growth. These questions build resilience. These questions teach children that failure is an event, not an identity. Solution number 4: pay attention to their emotional life. Many parents know their child's GPA. They know their athletic statistics. They know their academic goals. But do they know their fears? Do they know what keeps them awake at night? Do they know what makes them anxious? Do they know what breaks their heart? Do they know what makes them feel lonely? Parents, emotional connection cannot be outsourced. Not to schools, not to coaches, not to youth leaders, not to technology. Your child needs you, not simply as a provider, not simply as a protector, but as a safe place, a place where they can be honest, a place where they can be vulnerable, a place where they can be imperfect. Sometimes the greatest gift a parent can offer is not advice, it's presence, listening, understanding, connection, solution. 5. Teach them that rest is not laziness. Many children today are exhausted. School, activities, sports, responsibilities, social expectations, technology, pressure. The pace never stops. Yet even God established rhythms of rest. Rest is not weakness. Rest is wisdom. Rest is necessary. Teach your children that their value is not determined by constant productivity. Teach them to pause, reflect, pray, recharge, laugh, enjoy life. Healthy children eventually become healthy adults. Exhausted children often become exhausted adults. The biblical perspective. Identity before performance. One of the most beautiful truths in Scripture is that God establishes identity before assignment, before achievement, before accomplishment, before public success. Identity comes first. Throughout Scripture, we see individuals loved, called, and valued long before they achieved anything remarkable. This matters because our children live in a world that constantly asks, "What have you accomplished?" God asks, "Who are you becoming?" The world celebrates performance. God develops character. The world measures success. God measures faithfulness. The world rewards achievement. God values transformation. Parents who understand this perspective help their children build identities rooted in something far deeper than performance. And identities rooted in truth are not destroyed by failure. Final thought. Before we close today, I want you to think about one child, your grandchild, your niece, your nephew, a young person you love deeply. Ask yourself, have I been paying attention only to their accomplishments? Or have I been paying attention to their heart? Because one day the grades will disappear, the trophies will gather dust, the awards will be forgotten, but the emotional foundation built during childhood will remain. The child everyone praises may indeed be carrying unseen burdens. Your job is not simply to help them succeed. Your job is to help them thrive, to help them become emotionally healthy, spiritually grounded, confident, resilient, compassionate, whole. And when that happens, you haven't just raised a successful child, you've raised a healthy human being. Call to action. Thank you for spending this time with us at NGWI-MENYI Expressions LLC. If this conversation touched your heart, please like, subscribe, share this video, and join our growing community of parents, grandparents, educators, and caregivers committed to raising the next generation with wisdom, intentionality, and love. For a deeper dive into these parenting principles, I encourage you to visit Amazon and get your copies of Nurturing Tomorrow and Walking the Talk, Navigating Teenage Years. These books were written to help families build stronger relationships, healthier communication, stronger character, and lasting connections with their children. Remember, the goal is not to raise children who simply impress the world. The goal is to raise children who are emotionally healthy, spiritually grounded, and prepared to thrive in life. Until next time, keep nurturing tomorrow, one conversation, one lesson, and one child at a time.